Hello, children. Today, we will be learning about punctuations and how important it is in English language. So, punctuation goes way back to ancient Greek and Roman times. Marks and symbols were used in the writings to indicate where and for how long should a speaker take a pause. Punctuation was virtually absent until late 15th century when printing was introduced. Many of the manuscripts were punctuated with only one punctuation mark, which is periods, also called as full stop, at the end of the sentences. Ben Jonson, who was a playwright, jotted the rules of punctuation in 1640, and he discusses the primary functions and usage of some common punctuations. What are punctuation marks? They are symbols that indicate the structure and the organization of written language. They also indicate the intonation and pauses to be observed while reading sentences. Correct punctuation marks can tell us what the writer wants to say. For example, let's eat, Daddy, or let's eat, Daddy. Do you see the difference in the two sentences? Both are actually correct. Next, we go to understand what is the power of punctuation. It can be understood by, let's see some example to understand the power of punctuation. A teacher asked her class to punctuate the following sentences. A teacher without a student is nothing. Now, some of the students in the class wrote, a teacher without a student is nothing, basically repeated it. Whereas some of the others wrote, a teacher, without her, the student is nothing. Now, both of these are the right way of punctuation. It is just depending on how we actually tell it. Let's see another example. Now, read the following passage with me without any punctuations. I would like to apply for a job with your company for 5 years. I have been employed as a journalist for the Journal Street magazine. I wrote nothing that I did not take pride in. I'm sure it'll be the same if I work for you. Doesn't make any sense, right? Now, let's see the same passage with the punctuation marks. I would like to apply for a job with your company. For 5 years, I have been employed as a journalist for the Journal Street magazine. I wrote nothing that I did not take pride in. I'm sure it'll be the same if I work for you. Now, let's see the same passage with a change in position of punctuation. I would like to apply for a job with your company for 5 years. I have been employed as a journalist for the Journal Street magazine. I wrote nothing that I did not take pride in. I'm sure it'll be the same if I work for you. Now, do you see the difference between the first sentence and the last sentence? You can actually see that the last sentence, there is a lot of wrong punctuation marks that are used, and the sentence does not make any sense. I hope by now you have understood the importance of punctuation and why do we need to punctuate. Now, what are punctuations? Punctuations are symbols used to organize and structure sentences. It makes the sentences meaningful. The punctuation marks are used to separate the sentences or parts of sentences and make the sentences clear to understand. Some of the most common punctuation marks are capital letters, full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation mark, colon, and semicolons. Now, let's study each punctuation mark separately and learn how to use them. The first one is capital letters. We use capital letters to mark the beginning of a sentence. Let's see some examples. We are planning a trip to Scotland. Now, we, W, becomes a capital letter because we are starting a sentence. She is baking cookies. They went cycling today. We also use capital letters at the beginning of proper nouns like name of a person, nationality, languages, days of the week, months of the year, public holidays, as well as names of places. Let's look at some examples. Her sister's name is Anna. That man is a Korean who settled in Africa. Do you speak Mandarin? This Saturday, I will have my tickets booked for an opera concert. My birthday is in the month of June. This new year, I plan to visit my grandparents. Do you see how we can use capital letters in the beginning of proper nouns? Canada is the second largest country in the world. Canada is the name of a place, so it always has to be in capital letter. The next punctuation mark we're going to learn is full stop. Full stop is used at the end of a sentence. For example, biology is one of my favorite subjects. Full stop. I lost 5 pounds in a week. Full stop, because it ends a sentence. Full stop is used at the end of an indirect question. She asked where I was going. They questioned why we reached late. We also use full stops and initials used before the name of a person. A.V. Smith, Lim D. Jones. Now, full stops can also be used after abbreviations. Some examples are etc., doctor, or limited. The third type of punctuation mark is question mark. Question marks are used at the end of sentences indicating questions. They are used to express doubt or uncertainty about something. When we use question marks, we do not use a full stop. Question mark is used only after direct questions. Let's look at some examples. Why are you late for your class? A question mark, because you're asking a question. What time are we planning to meet today? When can we sit for dinner? How are you feeling today? Which of these 2 dresses did you like? The next type of punctuation is exclamation mark. We use exclamation marks to indicate an expression. Exclamation marks are used after an interjection or exclamation to indicate strong feelings. They are used to emphasize a word or a sentence. Some examples. Stop. You have an exclamation mark there. Oh no, I can't help her anymore. She played till her last breath. Ouch, that was painful. The fifth type of punctuation mark is comma. Commas are used to separate a list of similar words or phrases. Some examples. I love eating cheese, jam, and butter on my bread. In fact, you should have called me earlier. They're used to separate words or phrases to make a reader understand where to pause. Some example. Mrs. Briganza, our English teacher, would be taking the free lecture. He is good at his work. However, he is a little slow. It can be also used to separate the city from its state. Some examples. I'm from London, England. I live in New Delhi, India. And it can be also used to separate the day of the month from the year. He was born on 1st January, 1990. My date of birth is April 10, 2000. The next type of punctuation is colon. Colon are used after a statement that introduces a quotation, an explanation, an example, or a series or list of items. Let's see. The required ingredients are as listed below. So you use a semicolon to list all the ingredients: sugar, eggs, milk, etc. For picnic, I will carry snacks, water bottle, swimsuit, football, and few extra clothes. Now, the next type of punctuation is semicolon. Semicolon are used to connect 2 independent clauses that are closely related in thought in a sentence. When semicolon is used between 2 or more ideas in a sentence, the ideas are then said to have equal ranking or position. Some examples. I find you very pretty. You're growing beautiful as time goes by. Do you see how semicolon is used after I find you very pretty? The following are our company representatives: Mr. James Carey, Operations Head, Ms. Simon Kirk, Global Marketing Head, and Mr. Andrew Taylor, Sales Head. The next type of punctuation is apostrophe. Apostrophe is used to show ownership, something belonging to something or someone else. Some examples. This is my sister's classroom. She has Sonia's book. An apostrophe can be used to connect 2 small words together. For example, It is becomes it's his last exam today. I cannot be shouting for a long time becomes I can't be shouting for a long time. Now we look at quotation marks, which is the next type of punctuation. Quotation marks are quotes, are always used in pairs, one to open a quote and the other to close a quote. They are used to indicate direct speech, the words what people have said. And it's mainly used when writing books and everything. Some examples. Lim asked, "Why do I need a surgery?" Aisha said, "Can we please go shopping today?" "I'm not sure if you heard me," said Sammy. "There is hardly any light. I'm scared," shouted Tim. The next type of punctuation mark we're going to learn is hyphen. Hyphens are used to spell out few of the numbers. For example, 45, 66. They're used between hyphenated compound words. For example, son-in-law or editor-in-chief. They're also used with various prefixes. For example, ex-wife or self-disciplined. Now, these are some of the punctuation marks commonly used in English language, and I hope you have understood the importance of punctuation in English language. Thank you.